the Bulldozer Matt Tremont, the 8-time Deathmatch Tournament winner, the former 2-time world champion, the owner of H2O Wrestling. And if there is one podcast to listen to, that is the Deathmatch Russell Podcast. Let's get ultraviolet, motherfuckers.
And good evening once again, fans. You're listening to the Deathmatch Russell Podcast. They're more than welcome to come on too anytime they want to come on.
Oh man, those girls pop good like this.
Alright, it's a budget thing. Let's hear what he's up to.
Thank you, man, and thank you for giving me the time.
Tune in right now. And good evening, everyone. You're listening to another episode of the Deathmatch Russell Podcast. My guest at this time, manager C Red. How are you tonight, man?
What's going on? I'm good, and you?
Not bad for us. What are we on? Saturday night? Saturday night already. It's like the weekend. Weather's cool. I'll tell you that. I'm enjoying that. I can, the coolness instead of the hotness,
Yeah, I agree. I hate the heat, especially in Chicago. I hate it tremendously.
Well, down here at the shore, of course, so we get all the sun all the time, at the Jersey Shore. What do you expect,
I mean, sun I can deal with. See, in Chicago, it's humidity. So, when you get that heat and that humidity together, it's unbearable. So,
right. But man, what is happening in the world of wrestling with you, huh? Like, what are you catching these days? What's catching your eye these days?
Oh, I mean, I'm a huge fan of AEW. Because they gave a lot of guys during this pandemic, an opportunity that, let's be honest, WWE, unless you sign a contract with them,
they went down. I know
you don't get that opportunity. And I mean, sometimes you just want people to put eyes on you, and whether you stay or you come back or whatever the case is. I mean, I'm kind of biased. I got some friends in WWE, so I'm very happy and very proud for them. But again, they had to again go through the training camp and then go through NXT, or some of them came in various ways. But with AEW, again, when the pandemic hit and they decided, let's keep wrestling going, they found guys from all over, so I'm happy that I got to see people that I worked with for years finally get their shot and get to shine a little bit. So I mean,
let me say this. You know what? As a fan of wrestling, I actually have friends as well. Actually, one of my friends from the Combat Zone Wrestling, Joe Gacy, just got his contract for the NXT.
Oh, okay. Well, congratulations. I mean,
that's big opportunity. I know he deserves it. He's one of those guys that's been around, and he's one hell of a performer. He could wrestle.
Yeah, I mean, they, not saying that they don't give opportunities, but then I've known people, and they, for example, they turned one of them into a ref, and I haven't talked to him in a couple of years, and maybe his body just said, you know what, this is easier, and that's fine, the guys that I know and girls, they bust their butts, every weekend, and they just want that shot. And like I said, right now for me, AEW is giving that shot. I mean, you get a little bit of the past and the people I grew up on. You get present day stars that used to be in WWE. But then you also get guys that you might not have ever seen before, and they're making their niche in AEW. And again, so it's that mixture.
Okay, let's throw this out there. Let's people like Sonny. Okay, Sonny Kiss.
Okay. I mean, you know what? I heard of Sunny Kiss,
Mm-hmm.
and again, seeing other people do that gimmick. Again, I've been doing this for 17 years, so the gimmick is nothing new. But to realize for him, it's not a gimmick,
Yeah.
and to realize that Sunny Kiss is a awesome athlete.
And tagging with one of the best right now, man. Like in one of our Jersey representing wrestlers who's just Joey Janela is like my gosh.
I didn't see that coming. There's no way when AEW started that you would have told me that they would have been a tag team and they would be pretty. They're entertaining.
Yes.
And
yes.
for me,
to see
again, that's what I want. If I'm sitting down for 2 hours, or I give you 2 hours on Tuesday for AEW Dark and 2 hours for Dynamite, don't let me waste my time. I hate to sit and watch and be like, man, I could have been playing Madden. I could have been twiddling my thumbs and felt better, because that's happened on. I feel that way now more about Monday nights than anything. Like I feel like I waste. Well, now football is back, so I don't care. But Monday nights, I really feel like I'm wasting 3 hours. And I feel I think personally, like SmackDown, they've been kicking their butt, and they do it in 2 hours versus 3. I just don't believe, everything needs to be 15-minute promo, 5-minute match, 15-minute promo, 7-minute match, but that's just how I am. So
and you tag teams, and you have solo people there. Who's catching your eye? Who do you like?
Where
at AEW? Who do you like? Who's catching your eye? Like you think it's gonna be like the next? It's tough choices. I know there's so many.
Again, FTR. I used to work with one of them, so
okay.
I mean, that in itself. Again, I'm always going to cheer for guys that I know, and I mean that's just the personal side of me that I want to see people I know in this business succeed.
Yeah.
Again, I was never a huge Bullet Club fan. So when AEW started and it was supposed to be the Bullet Club and all of this, and then the legal issues, So I mean, I liked Cody.
But I
wasn't, I liked him better just as Cody. I didn't need blonde hair or, I just needed Cody to represent. But as far as guys that I personally like, again, the more I see them, the more I really like Jurassic Express.
They've come a long way from where they first started. It's a growing step for them. They're gonna
and God, it just slipped my one. I have to say that I love Nyla Rose. Again, like I don't agree with the putting the Vicky with her. I kind of think that hurts her in a sense.
Yeah,
but that's just me. I personally don't like Private Party. Only because I believe 2 of my friends can do a better job. But again, that's the side of me that's like, my boys could do that a little bit better. I mean, it's again, you have to go through the whole table. And here's the thing, like I knew Orange Cassidy 13 years now. So, but I knew him before he transformed into Orange Cassidy. So, and here's the crazy part. Like I kept hearing people talk about Orange Cassidy. And I'm like, who the hell is Orange Cassidy? And we wind up doing, we didn't do a show together. I don't know. He wasn't on that show. But we did a show in Chicago where they did a matinee show. And then the company that me and my other group, the Soul Touchers, we were working that night. But, so we got to the building. Their show was going on at 3. They wouldn't let us in the building till 5:30. So I got there like at 5:00. And then we went upstairs to the dressing room. So, of course, you got these two companies upstairs. We're crowded. And then, he walks by. I'm like, what's up, bro? He's like, what's up, bro? It's been a while. I'm like, And then I noticed him put on the shirt and the sunglasses. And I'm like, is that ain't what he used?
No, yeah.
And then when he went out, like the crowd exploded. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
so,
he's a character.
Again,
yeah, he's a character. He's growing though. He's gonna, he wanted that match. He challenged himself. Oh, actually, Chris Jericho.
Dude, I'm loving Chris Jericho for the simple fact guys that I believe Orange Cassidy would have got over anyway, but he gave him the rub, and he didn't have to.
No.
And like one of my favorites, and I hope they bring him back, Sugar Duncan, Sugar D,
yeah, Pineapple Pete. Yeah, Pineapple
right.
Pete.
He calls him Pineapple Pete, and
Yep.
the next thing you know, it trends. And it's like this dude gave you a rub he didn't have to, and it's like I did a show Wednesday, and I had a guy ask me, why do some veterans don't want to make way for the younger stars? And I told him, well, some of them are bitter. Some of them don't want to lose their spot.
Yeah.
And I think, once you're happy with yourself, again, you at some point you just have to be honest. Like, what's best for business? Me taking the spotlight, or maybe this young kid that can go out there and pop the crowd, a little bit more than maybe I could, and get them into it. What's going, it might not be this show, but the next show that might bring, 20 to 30 more fans, and it's like, but some guys don't think like that. It's the me syndrome. It's me. So
how about Eddie Kingston? There's a name.
Dude, I've been watching Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
Again, I've been doing this for 17 years.
Yeah.
And as we say, no homo, fell in love with Eddie Kingston as the wild cards. So when Eddie Kingston first started out, and it was something, he just had that New York swag. And I first saw him at a rec center in Indiana. And oh my God, him and his partner, they just had this New York feel about them, and they didn't care. And this was IWA Mid-South. So, pretty much didn't, say and do whatever you wanted to. But I just fell in love with this dude, because it was like, he just went out there, and it wasn't always about, he got the business. Like, he didn't have to, do a bunch of stuff and get heat.
No.
He can come get in your face, and now the whole crowd is upset because he got in your face, and it's like, I was like, dude, he is
he's
a heat magnet.
He deserved it. He definitely because he ran on NWA, but that really didn't,
Yeah, but I think his best work on TV was in TN. Well, yeah, it was TNA at the time.
Yeah.
When they did that, I forget the name of the group. The guys, when they had the white face with the suits and and the clock ticking and whatever.
Yeah.
And he revealed himself again. I was happy. I was like, again, one of the boys got off the indie scene and onto national TV, and it was like, okay. And then management started changing and everything, and it just seemed like the more everything changed, he got lost in the shuffle, and it was like, but Eddie Kingston is a beast, and again, he doesn't have to do it all with 30,000 wrestling moves, so I Eddie,
mean,
if you ever hit us, you the man.
yeah. First time I saw Eddie, I'll never forget it, man. I went to a show. It was called JCW, Jersey Championship Wrestling, I think it was called at the time, before Game Changer Wrestling took over.
Okay.
Back in Garfield, New Jersey, as as Eddie, as the wild cards, as the wild when he was first just being himself.
Man, with them, and I always wondered, like, dude, you wearing white? IWA Mid South?
Yep.
No,
Yeah, no, man. Wear some rags. Come on. Wear some, yeah.
Don't wear white, but dude, they didn't care.
No.
I was like, it was that authenticity that they brought. That again, that East Coast flavor. That again, first of all, I love anybody out there that's watching. See Red and the Soul Touches. Love everybody on the East Coast. I'm just saying it now because the East Coast showed us nothing but love every time we came out there. So I mean, my heart is indebted forever to the East Coast. Plus, Jersey has Kevin Smith, so I'm sold.
Yeah.
I just need to go back to the Quickie Mart. That's all. Need some eggs.
Yeah, they have that business there, and they have that store.
That's why I need to go back to the believe it or not, years ago, many years ago, friends of mine, we went to Philly, but we had to make a trip to Jersey because we had to go to the Quickie Stop. Yeah. We had to go to the Quickie Stop. We had to go to RF Video, and at that time, RF Video had closed down. But literally, so I took pictures in the Quickie Mart, counting eggs, looking for that the freshest half-gallon milk I could find.
Yes.
Everything that was in Clerks, I was trying to do, except for a little kid coming to buy a pack of cigarettes.
But now they have, now they have that shop. They got that shop that they run. So the comic book shop. And
we took a trip there to Jan Bob's Silent Stash. We went, dude. I'm telling you again.
I live in Jersey, and I still haven't ever been. I gotta go there.
What?
Yeah,
man. Yeah. We didn't care, and we drove from Chicago.
I've taken the 12-hour drive to Chicago before.
We were dedicated that day. I wasn't dedicated because y'all got too many hills for me. I just fly. I can't do the driving no more. Y'all got hills, and oh my God, y'all interstate is like forever.
Parkways. Yep, our parkways are something else. Yep. Yeah. I was telling somebody last night on the podcast that last time I was in Chicago was for actually I did a Game Changer Wrestling versus Freelance Underground.
Okay.
The very first time they came there, it was like 2017, I believe.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, this is an experience to see Freelance Underground and what they do. And my God, that company is phenomenal. Like what they have.
And the crazy part is, again, the guys that started Freelance, I used to work with, and
it was a brewery. It was at a brewery.
Oh, okay. Then it closed down. They don't care where they run as long as they can run.
then the week goes by. I read in the paper, it closed down.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They have a knack. One of the owners has a knack for finding buildings, and I'll never forget. When they started to run, and both of two of the Soul Touches were on the show, but not as Soul Touches. So again, I went to really support my boys that night, and to see the crowd and how they were so in, and I mean, we were in a bar, but again, I'm on the second level, so to see even the fans on the second level be as rowdy as the fans on the first level. And it was like, oh my God. And I mean, music came on and people went nuts. And then they would do something silly.
But I'll tell you what, the stars that they had, my God, they had Isaiah
Isaiah the Last Words again. I trained Isaiah came in a year before I did. We both trained at Windy City Pro Wrestling, along with Marche Rocket and Acid Jazz. So all of us came out of Windy City again. But to see
Kylie Ray, of course, my gosh, she is
awesome, and I'm so happy for her. She just wrestled today for Chicago Style Wrestling. So,
did she? Yeah. And
she
just won. I think she just won the Warrior Wrestling title. I think.
She did that last night.
My gosh,
it's been a busy week for wrestling here in Chicago.
It is. It's going to be even busier for October 3rd through the 11th, or the what is it? October week. The Collective is coming.
Who?
The Collective.
Who?
The Collective.
The Collective. And who is that?
That's a whole bunch of companies coming to wrestle for WrestleMania week. The WrestleMania week that was supposed to happen.
Oh, that was supposed to happen. Oh, okay. Well, October 3rd for me in Michigan City, Indiana, Chicagoland Championship
Chicagoland Wrestling. Yes,
our first TV taping. And it will be me and Miles Mercer. Well, Miles will wrestle, and I will manage on this particular night. Both members of the ARC versus a guy named Yoda. I'm not sure.
Ewok or Yoda.
No, it ain't Ewok. No, I know Ewok, but
yeah, he's good. He's good. Yeah.
You know, but little small guy, but he got powerful kicks. I'm kind of worried, but at the same time, I got an equalizer in my back pocket. So
yeah, you got your sleeve, you got your sleeves in your pockets. Come on,
I got a bunch of pockets now. I go to the ring with a bunch of pockets now.
Got to
come out of them pockets.
But people won't know.
The
referee won't know either.
Matter of fact, the referee that unless he go back and he watched this interview, he working right now. He reffing somebody match down in Bourbonnais, Illinois. He ain't paying attention. So high ref. Okay.
Yeah. Or he's watching a game right now.
No, he's reffing because and here's the funny part. So I gave you tonight. I told you tonight was good, and I was like, oh, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
And then I remembered, I'm like, I got a show Saturday night.
Yeah.
No. So I had to contact the owner, and because it was a special benefit show tonight, so everybody wasn't going to be used. So and I manage him there, and it's called Southland Championship Wrestling, and he. I asked him, I said, are you and your partner working tonight? He said, no. I said, okay.
Yeah. But it would have been nice to. Would have been,
No, it would have that drive.
Oh,
it's only 2 hours,
right?
But it's dark.
Yeah.
And after about 20 minutes of just watching dark highway.
Yeah.
I live in the city, so I live in the heart of Chicago. So I've got street lights everywhere. I'm good, but to drive down pitch black streets is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm tired of looking at the lines.
Yeah.
And it's only so much Sirius XM I can listen to before I start getting tired. So it's a good thing that again I didn't have to work tonight, and I'm on here with you. So I mean,
that's awesome. I mean, it's great. I mean,
you're all the way in Jersey, and I'm all the way here in Chicago.
We'll meet sometime. We'll meet down the line when this pandemic's over. That's what I care about.
When is that gonna happen?
I'm sick of it. I know you are too. I know we all are.
I'm only sick of it because
I lost a coworker.
I'm a teacher, so
I lost a coworker to it.
my best friend, and it's like some people believe that it's a hoax, and until it really hits your front door,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
I my cousin, she passed in February,
Mm-hmm.
and COVID had been around, but we didn't know about it, to what extent. So I don't know if if that's what took her, So, and I mean, she was a sweetheart. So I mean, again, people taking it for granted, and I get it.
You know what? But
You don't like the new norm. You don't want to wear a mask, and
Well, you know what? We're starting to open up again. Stores are starting to slowly. The restaurants are. But you know what? I'm still eat. I still order in. Like
well,
yeah.
around here, I got so used to
Mm-hmm.
having
Delivery. Yeah.
yeah, but then when places, I knew certain places they would open, but again they wouldn't open like to 20 people,
Mm-hmm.
so I could still um go maybe 20 minutes away and get some Mexican food.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm not sitting in or dining in, but
No.
but it's what I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
So I live in the neighborhood. Really, the only thing that's around here is chicken and burgers, and you can only eat so much chicken and burgers.
That sounds like
And
me. Pizza and whatever. Come on,
I can. Well, here's the thing. I love chicken, and
Yeah.
I'll eat a chicken any which way you cook it. But
Yeah.
um, around one of those Chicago things is uh
Yeah.
wings with mild sauce, and I can only take so much mild sauce. It's like, oh my god, again. So
Mm-hmm.
I have to. My taste buds have to.
But you know
prepare.
what? When I went to Chicago, I did not have the deep dish, but I did have the hot dog.
You had you had a Chicago hot dog and no deep dish.
No.
What?
Yeah, I know, man. That's
Okay,
how I
different
roll.
people will tell you different things. I'm just gonna say, next time you come through, try Giordano's.
Yes, that's what I.
Again,
Yeah.
I love Giordano's, but I can't eat a lot of it because literally after one slice,
Gone.
you're done. You're
Yeah.
done, and then you're looking like, I got this whole pizza. What am I gonna do with it?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's good for breakfast in the morning.
Yeah, but I did have a Chicago style hot dog.
Okay,
And
all
that was
right.
very good. So hey, that was right up the street from the motel or whatever I was staying at. It wasn't much around the area downtown, Chicago.
Downtown, yeah,
It's like rural. It's like
it's
warehouses and it's like all warehouse community, warehouses and
yeah. I mean, again, in Chicago, there's so many different areas and neighborhoods and things of that nature. So again, depending on where
but
you're at.
I have gone to the famous club exit.
Oh, okay. Did you enjoy yourself?
Yes, it was a different experience because we had a fun night because Joey Janela got on the pole and started dancing.
Are there pictures of this?
There's a video I have.
Oh,
I'll give it to you later.
oh,
Cool.
okay.
Cool, huh? Like, it's funny. Actually, our friend was DJing the night. Like, our wrestler friend was DJing it, and so he just got on a pole and started swinging.
I've got one of those friends too. I think if you're in this business, there's always one guy that does that. I've got a friend.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
If it is 9 below zero, I got a friend, and I'm not gonna put his name out there, but
It's not Effie. No, probably Effie out there. No.
but he'll it's an oven in here, brother, and he'll pull his shirt off. And I mean, again, he's built, but and then he starts, and it's like, dude, you taking your shirt off and it's freezing outside, like, stop. Stop.
No.
But that's him. So I mean, that's what this business is about, man. Having fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, I told somebody yesterday, I didn't get. I started in this business at a late age. I started at 30 years old, so I already knew my days of trying to go anywhere were pretty much over unless I just got the biggest break ever. But
what got you into it? What got you hooked into like being like going to your first show and
no, actually, I grew up. So I grew up in the 70s before syndication. My father was a professional boxer, so he hated wrestling. He hated wrestling with a passion. So me asking him to take me somewhere to see wrestling, that ain't happening.
No.
But as a kid, every summer we would take a trip to Mississippi. So my 2-week, remember when you were a little kid and you go back to school and what did you do for your summer vacation?
Yeah.
I just ran off Xerox copies because mine never changed. I went to my daddy's town and then I went to my mama's town, and that's all I did for the summer.
Yeah.
So they still had territories. So down there, that's when I got turned on to Mid-South, World Class, and NWA and AWA. And I would have to sneak to watch them because my grandmother was very strict. Like, she wouldn't want her TV on during the day unless her soap operas were on. And on a Saturday,
General Hospital or something.
Ain't no Young and the Restless for my family. We Young and the Restless people. But they she wouldn't want her TV on, so I had to sneak around 12 o'clock and turn the TV on without the volume. And my the first guy that caught my eye was Skandar Akbar. And it was like, all right, who's the funny looking dude with the rag on his head?
Yep.
And he threw a fireball at Iceman King Parsons. So for me, I saw this Arabian dude throw a fireball at this big black guy, and he only had he had got braids. And I'm like, who wear their hair like that? I don't know nobody. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was hooked.
Yeah.
So a couple of years later, syndication and WWF took over, so I was hooked into wrestling. But as a adult,
let me ask you this. Here you go. Best manager, of course, would be Dr. Slick.
Nah.
Slick. No. Wow.
Bobby the Brain Heenan will forever be the greatest. And
absolutely.
He, as far as managing styles, he's part C-Red a little bit because Bobby would talk the talk, but he could actually walk the walk. So if Bobby needed to wrestle, and he used to wrestle.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? Slick was more of an entertainer.
Yeah, and my thing is, so I always facet myself after somebody that, like I came from the military. So I'm one of those people, you can't tell me to do something if you haven't done it. You can't tell me to follow you into war and into this trench. And guess what? You ain't never did it. I'm a little hesitant. So Bobby will always be one of my top. Bobby is one of my top. Gary Hart is the other one. And believe it or not, Jim Cornette. The older I get and the more I listen to him, whether it's shoot interviews or his podcast, I just love the way that he stands on what he stands on, and he believes what he believes, and he doesn't back down. And I can respect that. So, but it wasn't until I came home from the service, and I had daughters at that time, but my headspace was, I was in a bad space, and like I was doing a lot of drinking and a lot of smoking. Can we say marijuana on here?
Yeah, it's nowadays it's the
Oh, is it legal? Is it legal in Jersey? I don't know. So,
No.
oh well, it's legal in Illinois. So
Yeah.
So yeah, but I was smoking too much. Like that's what my life consisted of drinking and smoking. So I was in a bad spot.
The Cheech and Chong moments, yes.
Oh no, way worse, way worse. I mean, again, dude, and I've never been shy about it. That
Friday,
worse than that, dude. Like my kids would need Pampers, and I wouldn't give up any money because I'm like that cuts into my weed or my alcohol. No. So so one day their mom came in and was like, "It's a group of wrestlers at the bank." And for me, again, like the night before, actually that morning, like I woke up and I looked and there was all these liquor bottles and
the hangover.
It wasn't a hangover, but it was just a realization. Like I go to work, or I get my money, and you look, what do I have to show for it?
Nothing.
Like I have nothing. Once it's drank, it's gone. Like this bottle of pop, once it's gone, it's gone. But again, this lighter, oh, there it is. Again, it can be a collector's item, like, oh, they only made 18 of them. Oh,
absolutely. Okay. 3,000, who knows?
So, I mean, that was my thing. So I was like, God, you've got to give me something more productive to do with my life. Otherwise, I'm going to be dead. I know it.
No, everybody.
So she came in, she ran in the rave about the wrestlers. Now for me, I'm thinking WWE, so I'm thinking Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart and Road Warriors. I'm like, yeah. I'm a big Shawn Michaels person.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I get the kids and the bank is like 2 blocks away. We drive around there, and I'm like, these guys as big as me. What is this? Like, so it was the promoter of Windy City Pro Wrestling, Sam DeCero, and his champions at the time, Michael Anthony, Steve Boz, Terry Allen, and Brandon Bishop. And they were promoting the company. And I never knew about indie wrestling. So for me, it was like, you ain't WWE, y'all a bunch of fake dudes running around with fake belts, but the belts look real. But it was like, and they handed me a brochure, and I looked at how much it cost to train to be a wrestler. And I must have looked at this dude like, is you crazy? Like $3,000. Like, what?
No, yeah.
Like, But dude, I put it like this, Russ. Eventually, it was the best $3,000 I ever spent. Only because I got the proper training. And that's one fact that a lot of people take for granted about me. That I actually trained to wrestle. I didn't just train to manage.
I was going to say, I was going to ask, are you a manager? Or are you a wrestler? I see pictures both.
I'm both.
There you go. And I like that
titles.
Oh, I like your Corona mask. That's awesome. That's pretty cool though.
But dude, I just, you know what? I try to I tell people one way to stay relevant in this business, you got to keep reinventing yourself. And again, after 17 years, again, my character might be limited in some capacity, but I got to keep finding fresh ways to either get heat or, get that pop from the crowd. And again, in that particular company, I'm a heel, so, which the funny part is I control a Green Ranger. So I'm like almost like Lord Zed, but I'm Lord Red. So
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, again, so 17 years I've been doing this, and I wouldn't change it for the world, man. I love it.
All right. Worst experience with a fan, heckling wise. Worst experience ever. Probably like an old person getting in your face, giving you the heat, giving you the manager heat.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
What might be considered
or kid or
no, I make kids cry. I have no shame in it. I will, if you bring a little kid to the show, I will talk bad about them so bad that I have made kids cry.
Wow.
And I don't care. And here's the funny part. Same show since you brought it up. So there's a small town downstate called Grant Park, and I used to work for a company and called NXW. And so the first time I go down there, I'm like, great. They've got, it's a small town, but they packed this little building, 200 plus people. I'm like, yeah, okay, here we go.
I'm on fire. Okay, I'm
so
ready. Yep.
Me and my boys go out, and the way we're doing the story we're setting up is like one at a time. I'm introducing my guys, but then eventually, like we're setting up for a 6-man where I wrestle. But again, this is the first time, so I'm just managing one of my guys. And we go out, and there's this little old lady, and now she's nicknamed Grandma Manson.
Yeah,
but that's something else. But at that time, again, didn't know her. Little old, small, frail, sweet. She looked like she just sat at home and just bake apple pies all day long. And knit and play with the kittens. And dude, she did this to me.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
And I mean, double bird.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
And I didn't know how to react.
Yeah.
Because I want to respond, but I don't want to be disrespectful, even though I'm a heel, but I still don't want to overstep my bounds, And it was like I was so stuck that I almost laughed and lost it right there.
Yeah.
And finally, I had to go along with it and was like, I don't believe she did that.
Yeah.
I'm getting on the apron, ref, throw her out. I'm going to tell the security guard, throw her out.
Yep.
Then, like maybe 5 minutes later, I walk to the other side of the ring, and there's a little kid, and he's trying to boo. And I told this kid, I said, look, you know why you so ugly? Because your mama is fat and stanky.
Oh boy.
And he sat there.
Yeah.
And he wasn't with his mother. So I don't know where his mother was.
Right.
But he just and he literally started to bawl. And I didn't care. I was like, I did my job. So match over with, me and my guy, we go in the back. And it's intermission. And somebody comes and gets me, and they're like, hey, Red, that kid is really hurt. And his father, wants to, and I was like, dude, okay. And I mean, because that's how I am. Like, I never want anybody really else.
Yeah.
So I went out there and I told the kid, it's just part of the show. If I hurt his feelings, I was sorry, and I apologize to them. And the father was real cool because he said he understood it was just part of the show, but the kid didn't get it, and it was like, but it's the best heat ever when you get that little kid, or they're in one place and then they go run, halfway across the the building to their mom or dad, and it's like I did my job. So, but
or you go to a show and then there's like a hillbilly or some sort of like a person that's really out of place and they just really want to get ribbit you, you know? Oh,
the worst heat I've ever had, was in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
We were doing a fair.
Mm-hmm.
And so the storyline was my then valet
Mm-hmm.
and woman wrestler
Mm-hmm.
was also my wife, now ex-wife,
Mm-hmm.
at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And as a group, we held the tag titles. So, but there's like 6 of us. Mm-hmm. So we're doing the Freebird ×2 rule that anybody can defend them.
Yeah.
So it just so happened that the show before, me and 3 other the guys, we went on the East Coast working in Philly. Mm-hmm. So another friend and my ex had to defend the titles. Mm-hmm. So I berated her at the fair for almost losing us the tag titles. Mm. So we have a match. Mm-hmm. This fair has a bunch of women in it. And so, of course, they're cheering her on every move. Like, yay. So she gets me with her finishing, submission. Looks like I'm going to tap out. Of course, I do some shenanigans. Mm-hmm. And I beat her.
Right.
Dude, match over.
Yeah.
We go back. Our locker room was like in this little side. It wasn't a barn, but it was
like a tent. Yeah, like a tent.
It wasn't even a tent. It was a storage shed or something. But I mean, it was nice.
Yeah.
So, we're getting undressed and everybody, and it's about a 2.5 hour ride back to Chicago. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, well, we got paid already, but our friends are on, so I at least want to see them. And one of the guys like, Red, look out the door. And it was like 20 women trying to get in there to knock my head off.
Oh, jeez.
Like they had to call the fair security,
to
tell these women they couldn't, no, they couldn't see me. No, they were. I mean, dude, they were heated. Like, oh, we gonna talk, and he don't treat women like that. And I mean, they were heated. It was so bad, and I had to like call my friend later and apologize. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry we didn't stay for your match. I'm like, I had to sneak out of the shed.
Yeah, just to get out.
I couldn't even walk with my ex. Like I didn't, because all the women were telling her, you don't have to take that. Don't no man need to put his hands on you. Like, they going off. I'm like, I will meet you at the van. And I got up out of there so quick. Mm-hmm. And then it was funny because I was going so fast down the street that the police hit the lights, and I'm like, oh my God, like really? But they were going somewhere else, but it was just like, okay, let me calm down. We're away from the fair. We're safe. But it was like, I've never caught that much heat before. But when I said I belittled women, I told her job was to stay in the kitchen, to make sure that I was fed, that them dishes was washed, and she was lucky that she was able to give me some kids. Otherwise, she'd have been done.
Let me tell you a story here. I have a wrestler friend who had the same experience almost. He went to a wrestler friend. He's went to a show in a small little town, and this lady came up, started some stuff. Well, guess what? It was like a farmer group, like the K Club. Let's put it that way.
Wow!
Like they had pitchforks and they wanted to get that. So he had to sneak out the door, like you said. Like just.
I mean, sometimes good heat ain't great heat.
No.
Especially when your life is in danger.
Yeah.
It's like
Can you imagine that? Just like a bunch of pitchforks. Like, come on, get out of here. Like, really? Like, like, boy.
Yeah, that's why I'm always dependent. I don't turn down bookings, but I look at where I work, and that dictates what I say.
Yeah, you gotta
Especially
watch.
if I know
Yeah.
if I'm 20 minutes away from the highway, nah, I'm gonna keep it low key heat. Then.
Yeah, you gotta watch nowadays. I'll tell you. You look on Facebook and you see these. You do see these promotions that are out there, shindy little promotions. You know that.
Of course.
Like, come on, they really like a poster. It looks like what their kid made it. Like,
dude, one of the
Yeah.
things that I hate about this business, and hate is such a strong word.
no, yeah.
But I hate when somebody's aunt, somebody's uncle, their grandma, grandfather, they pass on, and they leave Billy,
Yeah.
$15,000.
Right.
So Billy is like, wow, what I'm gonna do 15? Well, me and my friends like wrestling, so let me go to High Spots. I'm gonna order a ring, and we're gonna put on shows. We're gonna make all this money.
Yeah.
And then you just make it look so bad. And that's one of the problems with the Midwest scene, but especially Chicago, that for a while it seemed like every week there was a new company popping up, and it was like, I mean, for workers, I'm never gonna say don't take a booking, make your money, but also be wary of where you work. And it was just like, like, but I mean, that to me, that's one of the issues that
What's the worst? What's the worst place you ever went to? Like, it was so run down, boy. Like
the worst place.
Like, say, like a bar, like look like a bar, or like a VFW's. It wasn't a VFW hall, like just like like a building or some sort of, like, it didn't belong where you wanted to be, like a building.
Here's the thing: every building I've ever worked in, they've made it work. At least the wrestling. No, nah. Okay, so many years ago, IWA in South did a show at a brewery, but the room was so small. And I mean, I got it from a fan's point of view that you could sit at a table, and have a beer, but where the ring was and what we were able to, how we were able to move was so limited. I didn't like that. We could only
push
work
against the wall, basically.
Yeah, we only had 3 sides to work, where we're normally working 4. And it was like, okay, I don't like this. But even then, I mean, we made it work. And I think that's you never know what you're going to face, especially, if it's a new venue. But you kind of say, okay, we'll make it work. We'll work around it. But I've been privileged. I haven't worked in too many. Now, locker room wise, oh my God.
Nightmares. Yeah. Nightmares. Yeah.
You've been in hallways. I've been in did a show where we were in the kitchen, and literally they trying to cook and we're in the kitchen. So they're like, hey, can you pass me the tomatoes? Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, hang on, I'm not working. Yeah.
There you go. I mean, yeah. So I mean, I've been privileged to work, in some pretty special circumstances, but none where it's like, now I do not. I'm not gonna say I hate outside shows or fairs, because I run at least one show that's outside every year. But I hate when you work for a company. Oh, it's an outside show. Okay, well, where's the dressing room?
Mm-hmm. Where is it? Yeah.
Ain't no what? There's no dressing room. So I mean, I've had to get dressed in my van before. I had to get dressed in a porta potty before. And that was only one time. After that, can't do a porta potty.
No.
I'd rather just get dressed in front of the fans at that point.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh wow.
yeah, I mean, you kind of,
Gotta improvise. I know.
have a couple of guys hold up a tab, like, hey, hold this tab for me. Let
Yeah.
me, So
Yeah,
I mean,
let me open up the trunk. Hold on. Let me open up the back door. Hold on.
okay, but I mean, yeah, I mean, you learn, but too many people, too many rings, and not enough quality. I think psychology has went out of wrestling,
Mhm.
and to me, that's a problem. Everything is a spot.
So, what got you involved with Chicagoland Wrestling? Let me ask you that.
Um, the promoter and owner, John Bullard. You know what?
Yeah.
Me and John
Mhm.
did a show. He worked in a company that I worked at, Ileana Pro Wrestling.
Mhm.
Um, and the character he was doing, I was digging it. I don't think a lot of people got it,
Mhm.
you know. But I was a fan. Uh, he was a fan of ours because again, we were uh, me, Miles Mercer, and Renee Van People. We are instant heat. I don't care who you are. If I don't like you, I don't like you.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm. I just can't stand you. I will kill you. Uh, I will set you on fire, um, or at least try to.
Yeah.
Um, and Danger, I hope you watching. I'm still talking about you. Um, but yeah, we got to know each other working through that company,
Mhm.
and one day, John, John is such a.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
like the way he talk. I love the way John talks. John is so smooth, and he was like, "See, Red, let me ask you a question. What do you think if I started my own promotion here?" And I was like, and instantly I'm thinking another Chicago Fed, like,
Mhm.
ugh. But then the more we talked, I mean, really talked about it,
Mhm.
his vision was way different than a lot of other people. Already, I mean, let's be honest, on October 3rd, we're
It's
doing TV tapings for Amazon Prime.
yeah.
Amazon Prime, come
All
on.
right.
I mean,
I'm gonna have to watch that. I know.
it's like this, and you can see and you can talk to John that he has, and I'm not saying other promoters don't have, a passion for the business, but like right now, I haven't seen anybody work this hard with promotions in such a long time. And it is so refreshing because it's more than just Facebook. I mean, every time I turn around, he's doing podcasts, he's doing interviews, he's got stuff in the paper, he's got stuff running
On the
on radio.
radio. On the
I mean,
radio.
yeah,
Yeah. I
he
mean,
he's constantly, you know,
promoting.
he's
That's good.
he's promoting his company like his
The
life
way.
depended on it, and it's like, thank God somebody gets it.
Mhm.
That it's just not another company that puts their flyer on Facebook and like that.
I need to catch it on the radio one day. You got to give me the station that you guys
Well,
listen
I
to.
think the station is out by him. I mean, but I'm sure I can get it for you. That wouldn't be an issue. But again, it's just the fact that he's doing those things that make,
wrestling what it's supposed to be.
Every time I turn around, at least once a day, he's posting, that he sold another family 4-pack, of tickets.
Sold another shirt. Yep, sold another shirt.
Right. And it's like, dude, he gets it. He came in with the idea, and we kind of joke about it because I'm called the king of merchandise in this area, because if I think I can sell it, I'm gonna have it made and put it out. I've got coloring books, foam fingers, buttons, t-shirts, prowrestlingtees.com/soul touches. You name it, I try to sell it. I swear I do. And next thing I know, here's John. And John's doing the same thing. And I couldn't be mad at him. I'm like, that's what you're supposed to do. A lot of these young guys, they come into business, and again, they just, they want elaborate paydays, and then they don't get them, and they don't understand. Guess what? A lot of times, this is how some guys make their living. For real. I had a friend that, and he's still in the business on the East Coast. He lives on the East Coast now, but that's how he used to pay his rent. 4 weekends a month, he was working, and that's how he paid his rent. And it was like, but people couldn't understand. Like, dude, that's all you do. Like, he got the other end on merchandise, and it was like sometimes I got fired from a company, and how do you get fired from indie wrestling? But anyway,
yeah, right.
I got fired from a company, and the problem was the promoter decided. Matter of fact, I think this was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, this month. AEW first came to Chicago. Remember, their first pay-per-view, All Out, was here. And he had already booked the show, but I had told him a year prior that I was booked in another town, not in Illinois, but in another town, in another state. And I have a belt I got to defend, And so I already knew this. So come like March, April, I'm telling them, hey, in September, I won't be here. So April comes, May, June. Every month I'm telling them.
Hold on, I'm getting a message from him. Hold on.
And he's like, okay. So I turn around. So when he posts the card in the group chat, I noticed that he puts the guy that I'm managing that night second. And I'm figuring, hey, maybe I can work a double shot in this other town. It's about 20 minutes away, but I can do it because when I defend the titles, we're on the second half of the card. So I'm good. And I guess all the young guys on the roster backed out. So, and they all went to AEW. So he moved that match to 8th. Well, I was like, well, hell, I told you I couldn't make it anyway. So no skin off my back.
No.
So come that Monday, I noticed in the group chat that I'm not in it. And it said that I had been removed. And I'm like,
okay.
Yeah. So I asked him, I said, dude, what's the issue? Well, you went to work somewhere else. And, people don't understand. Teachers, at least in Chicago, we only work, from September to June. Yeah. So I'm like, dude, I got bills. So I'm like, $30 that you were paying me to manage that night, which is still cheap, but $30. And I went and wrestled. But because me and the owner go back to high school, like, he's got the sweetest deal ever. But I made over $50 in just merchandise. and I walked out the building with over $100. So I'm like, dude, do the math.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
you're broke, and two people hand you an envelope and say, well, here's 30 in this one, or here's 100 in this one. Which one are you gonna take? You're gonna take the 100
Yeah.
because it's gonna last longer, you
Mhm.
know. And he got all pissy, and it was like, and I guess he thought my feelings would be hurt,
Right.
Oh, well, I'll bring you back later, brother, if if you know how to act. Really?
Oh,
Get the hell
excuse
out of
me. Excuse
here.
me.
And here's the thing,
Yeah.
like, cats seem to forget. I'm damn near 50 years old. I'm 47. I have no shame in my age. 47 years old. Dude, you're gonna respect me as a grown man. That's the bottom line.
Mhm.
I'm not 18. I'm not
No.
19.
No.
You know, um, you gonna respect me, dude. I mean, and if you can't have respect for me as a man first, then I don't want to do business with you. And then to go back to your other question, that's why I love John. Me and John has not only been an awesome promoter, but a better friend.
Mhm.
I've been having some personal things go on, and him and his family have constantly reached out, like call, text,
Mhm.
like, dude, if you need something, I'm here, and I'm one of those people, and I'm ashamed to say it, my pride a lot of times gets in that way, but John has been there, and that even makes me want to see Chicagoland Championship Wrestling succeed even more, because I want him and his family to prosper on this thing.
It's
And I
gonna.
want all the guys, like, I see this as maybe like when we started talking and we were talking about AEW.
Yeah.
Do I think this will be the next AEW? I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I don't. But guess
The
what?
stars.
More
Yep.
eyes
Are
will
on us.
be on us. A lot of people, um, like, I never realized the success
Mhm.
that the Soul Touchers had until I started finding out, like, the DVDs that Shakara was selling in Germany, in Honduras, and then you go on YouTube and people are doing, this is my review of the King of Trios, and then you sit there and then all these, and it's like, people know who we are. Like, wow.
And nowadays it's all digital, and it's IWTV, and it's Fight TV, and just
Yeah,
smart.
but
Like,
that's what I'm saying. So
yeah.
I want more people to be able to get their eyes on all this talent. I
Mm.
mean, oh my God,
We were talking about guys like Garrison Creed. You're gonna see him, like, he's gonna have a you're gonna see him somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, he's ready to
dude.
break out.
And
Yeah.
again, I'm not pushing anybody,
No. No.
but again, why Marche Rocket is not on AEW or WWE right now is beyond me. Now, yes, he was with Impact Wrestling. Um,
Or Ewok. Or Ewok.
they misused him, dude. Dude, I've been with Marche since day one, since I started, and I did it. I do a TV show here, called Last Man Standing,
Mhm.
and uh, Marche happened to be on there um, for my season finale. Um, and I publicly said it, and I'll say it everywhere. I owe my career to Marche, and nobody understands that when you come off of drinking a half gallon of gin, drinking 3 or 4 40 ounces,
Mhm.
smoking 5 or 6 blunts, and smoking 2 packs of Newports every day. This is every day. And now all of a sudden, you're going to train to wrestle. And the first day of practice, I had to run 2 blocks. Now that doesn't seem like a lot, but on the east side of Chicago, that 2 blocks is actually 4, and then you got to come back to 4. So that's 8 blocks.
Right.
My lungs are dead.
Yeah. Yep.
And I want, at that point, I was ready to quit. Even though I put down the deposit, I was ready to walk away. I was ready to say, you know what? I'm going in here, get my car keys, and I'm leaving. And Marche Rocket ran back, saw me, and pulled me up and said, come on, brother, you're going to finish. Friend for life.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't have to do that. Again, at that time, Marche was 18, fresh out of high school, in college, skinny. He was a track star. So he was good. He didn't have to come back and get this 30-year-old guy, that had wasted, his life, at least 12 years of it, doing stuff he shouldn't have been doing. So again, people asked, I had somebody say, that I cheer for people I know too much. And I'm like, well, why shouldn't I? I don't perceive myself to be a hater. I believe if one of your friends succeed, then a piece of you succeeds. And that's what I want. I want all my. If you ask me, I would have all my friends in NXT, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, AEW, New Japan. I mean, that's just me. Because again, I want everybody to eat. It's that Elliot
succeed.
Yeah, it's that Elliot mentality. I want feed. Everybody got to feed. Everybody got to eat. We all got kids to feed. I want everybody, like you said, across the board to succeed. I don't want anybody to fail.
No.
I want the way the business was in the 80s when it boomed, when it popped, when everybody was wondering what the hell is the world coming to, because wrestling was everywhere.
It was.
And I've got a friend of mine, her husband came by, he dropped off some merchandise last week. And the first thing he said to me, because again, he knows I'm in the business, and he was like, bro, I stopped watching wrestling, especially WWE, but now it's on Monday nights and Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights and Thursday nights and Friday. He's like, it's on every day. And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, that's the way. I guess what? Because if it's on every day, that's more chances for people to eat. We can all sit at this table and eat. But again, I want Marche, long deserved. He deserves it. Shogun, Chris. I know. I haven't met Garrison yet. He kind of scares me, even though, again, I was in the military and I had to do the camo thing, but he does his a little bit crazy, so I'm kind of worried about that. Ewok, again, Ewok is somebody else that, again, he worked for another company here in Chicago. I think he still works there, but I had never seen him work. So then he came to the same company where me and John were at, and he worked one night, and I was like, he brought that Eddie Kingston feeling back, because it was authentic, it was authentic, and it was like
crisp.
Okay, here's my thing. I think I want to see characters that are not characters in a sense, that are part of who you are. You know, I want to feel some realization. You know, I want to be able to see. I can't identify with Isaac Yankem. I can't. I don't like the dentist. Anybody knows me? I hate the dentist. So I can't identify with him. You know, but like with the wild cards and Ewok, I grew up on the south side and still live on the south side of Chicago. I know some dudes that they don't, you know, again, New York got its own flavor. So, son, you know what I'm saying, son? You know, okay, much respect. Hey, but we got some dudes in Chicago that get down like that. They just don't. Our language ain't the same, but the mannerisms are, the body movements are. So I can feel it. It resonates with me, and I can understand that the character that they're giving off. You know, so I mean, I think, you know, October 3rd, I think anybody that's in attendance, you know,
I wish I was there. I wish I was there, but I will be supporting you guys online. I'm going to be actually being at a fundraiser show for a kid. Actually, they call it Val's for Pals. He's, you know, a disabled child. With, you know,
okay.
all proceeds will go towards the family. But you know, it's going to be an outdoor show, and it's all for him because he loves wrestling.
Oh, okay.
He can't speak or anything. You know. So
well, send me again. I'm a special education educator.
okay.
It's what I've done for 20 years of my life this coming month.
And actually, you know, and I support all. And
so
even though I do have a disability as well. So you know.
So send me a link, and
yeah,
I will make sure that, you know, I donate. And if you have a way for me to get this kid some merch, I will gladly send him some free merch on behalf of C Red and the ARC. You know, it's
but not only that.
Wait
a minute. I think I got some merch too. I got to swap with you. I got summertime stuff.
Oh, you know what? I've always thought about doing cozies, and it's like here in Chicago I've seen other people do them, and it's like I want to do stuff like nobody has a coloring book. So I know it's crazy, but
I still have t-shirts.
The thing is, you know, when my grandson, he sat down and he started coloring, and of course he didn't color me red. He colored me like green and orange and purple. I didn't care. And again, that's the real reason why.
Guess who's coming out? Guess what superstars are going to be there? Speaking of AEW,
what superstars?
Who do you think? Who do you think is going to be there?
What you say is
who's the muscle bound guy in AEW?
Cage is going to be there.
Yeah.
See, I like Cage, but see, I don't know if I like Cage with Taz. First of all, I'm a huge Taz fan.
Everybody is. I love Taz. Taz is.
You know, when ECW
also another superstar. Also another superstar from TNA, Ace Austin.
Okay.
And a special appearance by Tracy Smothers signing autographs, and Nunzio.
Is Tracy doing better?
Nunzio and Tommy Wildfire, they'll be in the house.
Okay. Is Tracy doing better?
I don't know. I guess so. I don't know. I have to Google. I'll Google online. You have to your Facebook. Just check Facebook. I don't know.
No, I'm saying because I haven't seen Tracy.
Yeah, I know he was. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he was.
You know, and I've got much love for Tracy. Tracy again. He saw. I don't know where Tracy saw the Soul Touchers at, but it was funny, that same show that I told you about, the grandma with the double bird and making a little kid cry. We went back there, like, again, like I told you, the blow off match where it was a 6-man, and Tracy was the special guest that night. And it was funny because, you know, you meet some of these guys and you never think they remember you, you know. So you still be, you know, you're still polite and you shake their hand and, you know, hey, I'm such and such. And that wasn't the case with Tracy. Tracy was like, hey, y'all don't know, this is the man, see Red, and, you know, him and the Soul Touches. And I mean, it was funny because he was at the merch table selling his merch, but he's telling people stories about us and trying to get them to buy my merch. And I'm like, Tracy, I didn't bring any merch tonight. I didn't think it was going to say, I mean, but to know that most of the night, again, Tracy just kept recalling the times that we've been on the same car and us being in the locker room, just being us and acting silly. So, I mean, you know, I send all my prayers and love to Tracy. I'm pulling for a full recovery. Truly I am.
I will definitely get you all that information after this is over.
Okay, I appreciate it. That sounds like a good card, but man, we both gonna be busy that night, huh?
Yeah, well, hopefully I can get some podcasts as well. Maybe I can try to. I'm thinking about taking my iPad with this app and trying it. I don't know if I get any reception by the. If not videos, I'm just gonna do video or record. I'm doing
what? Or nothing else? Do Facebook Live and
I don't want to take the laptop because it's so damn heavy. You know, well, less to carry. I want to enjoy myself also. You know.
Well, that's true. I understand. I'm not caring. I'm not
podcast. You know, about 4 sponsored podcasts as well. You know, we all are donating our time. You know.
Oh, okay. Well, again, I'm not carrying no laptops. I can't tell you what I'm carrying.
I can't take this with me. You want me to carry this with me the whole? Cape May, New Jersey.
I've seen people do. Yeah. You should see some of the stuff that happens out here in Chicago.
Yeah.
Some of it is just. But yeah, I can't tell you what I'm carrying that night.
You know what else? You know what's going on right now?
What's happening now?
Well, actually, it should be on Facebook, but I'm not sure if they announced it. But WrestlePro Alaska. WrestlePro from New Jersey is in Alaska doing a show 2 nights. They've been there for 2 nights in Anchorage, Alaska.
Who wants to do a show in Alaska? Well, I guess
you know what?
They got fans in Alaska.
It was a boxing. They had it in a wrestling in a wrestling facility that does boxing and wrestling, and the card. It was mixed. They did wrestling. You know, the wrestlers. You had Brian. You had actually Joey Janela, Swagger. Okay. You had Gangrel also is there. Shout out to him. He's wrestling tonight as well. There's a whole bunch of guys. They're just doing it. But tonight they're doing it at a Harley Davidson shop. Inside a Harley Davidson building. They cleaned it out. That's amazing. Like to be an experience where, you know, like bikes are in the background.
That's pretty cool. I think one of the best buildings I've ever been. There was this guy, so he owned this little strip area, and this big barn. It was really his warehouse,
and
but he cleaned it out
tonight as well.
Oh wow!
And but you know what? Guess who didn't make an appearance? Cassidy.
Who didn't?
Cassidy. Orange. Oh well. But
maybe he's sick.
But you know what? It's supposed to be streaming live tonight. It's supposed to be free right now on Facebook Live.
Is it?
Yeah. The other show was free. I'll have to send you it. It was really good.
Man, I'm missing it. And see, I guess that's the crazy part. Because here you get
they're giving it. Hey, you know what? The owner said free tonight, folks, because you know they're trying their best and they have Wi-Fi in that building. I'm surprised.
No, come on now. It's a Harley Davidson building.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm sure they got, you know, they got all kind of apps. You know, what you know, how do you look on this bike? What do you look like on that bike? So I'm quite sure that, you know,
Somebody's
but
gonna come to a ring on a bike. Yeah.
oh, dude,
God.
I did that. A friend of mine.
Actually, one of my wrestler friends just did that at the last show I was at. That was pretty cool. Or he just came out. I was watching on
The
pay-per-view.
show, I do a show every year for my students. My boss allows me to put on the show, and so one of my friends 2 years ago rode, not 2 years, 3 years ago, he rode his motorcycle to the show, and I said, dude, what would be awesome is if you rode your motorcycle, you know, to the ring. And he said, okay. Now the bad part is he didn't know at the time. One of my students who was in a wheelchair and she was being pushed, so he cuts the motorcycle on. He can't hear his music,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually he just comes around and he's right behind her, but he's got to keep it going. So he's like, and she's just jumping in the chair. And I'm like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't scare my little sweetie. And it was like, but I thought like the boys that were there were like, yes, best entrance ever. Like, because the kids started screaming. And the crazy part was he was a heel.
Yeah.
And then the baby comes out to Can You Feel It by Michael Jackson. And they're like, we like the dude with the motorcycle.
You know what? One of my friends came out just recently. We had a show, outdoor show, indoor show. Well, we did it the first time I think right after the pandemic, and came into the building on a horse to the ring.
Boy, he thought it was AEW.
Yeah.
He thought he was the elite.
He's his gimmick is still smoking, so it's like, you know, he's holding a cigarette and Joe Cool, you know, and
Thought he was a cowboy.
but guess what? I toss in the ring every time. I toss in an empty carton to him as a gimmick, and they love it. They love it.
Empty carton, man. I'd be mad.
Yeah. So
I'd be mad. I'd be like, "Where's the other 12-pack?"
Yeah. Shout out to Frankie Picard if he's listening to this. You know, he always listens to my stuff. Good guy. Good guy.
Man, I don't. You know, that's actually one of the running gimmicks that I use. When I can't breathe, I start telling people I smoke too many Newports, and I can't breathe. And then the crowd goes, then stop smoking. Stop smoking. You know, again, I'm just to a point in my career where I just want to have fun. It's not about and passing down what I know and what I've learned, you know. And I want to see young kids, 2-3 years in the business, you know, properly trained, and I want to see them succeed. You know, I want if they have aspirations, you know, to make it to the big leagues, then that's what I want. But I also tell people they got to be real. Also, that guess what, you know, wrestling is like any other sport. You know, you got this big percentage, you know, that want to do it. You know, you do it in high school, you do it in college. You know, if you think about it on every level, that it starts out so big, and every time you go up to the next level, that number gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. You know, so it's like everybody's not gonna make it on TV. You know, it's just not gonna happen. You know, so what do you do then? You know, have you wasted, you know, you're 18 years old, you waste the next 12 years, you know. Now, if you have the luxury of living at home with mom or dad and they're paying all your bills,
I support them. Yes.
you know, you pay all their bills. I mean, they pay your bills, and
I pay my own bills.
you know. No, I'm saying, dude, but I'm saying then that's one thing,
Do I
but
drive? No, I don't drive.
you can't be 40 years old and be like, I'm gonna still make it to the WWE.
Mhm.
Like, dude, really?
Mhm.
As what? The janitor? Like,
Mhm.
stop it. At just some point, you gotta also be real. You gotta have a backup plan. You have
Absolutely.
to. If you don't have one, then pretty much again, you're gonna look back on life with regrets. And again, do I regret? I could have gotten this business at 2024. So I wasted 6 years.
Mhm.
I was smaller and I had still a little bit of get up to me versus when I was 30 with a pot belly and my lungs was burnt out and my head wasn't, even though I did have hair at that point,
Yeah.
but yeah, I had some beautiful hair.
I just cut my hair this week, so.
No, I had beautiful. My hair used to be down to my shoulders,
Yeah.
laid down to my. It was so beautiful, but people don't remember that. And then when you tell people, like, remember, they like, yeah, you did have hair. Yes, yeah, I had hair.
That's
I
cool.
had hair.
But you know what? I want to say thank you so much for coming on. Let's do this again. Anytime you ever want to come back, Mike.
Oh man, you know what? First of all, it was a pleasure to be on here. Second of all, I appreciate you. You are one of the most easiest people to work with,
Mhm.
and that makes it more enjoyable.
Mhm.
Versus, you know, I hate doing podcasts where I did one recently where there was no structure,
Mhm.
and it was like four other people,
Mhm.
and it was all over the table, and it
Mhm.
was like, no, I don't like this.
Oh,
I don't.
I've had horrible guests like that. I've been down the road.
No, I'm saying,
Yeah.
but you've been easy to work with and talk to, and and this again, it's been fun. I just told you, I want to make it fun. So if it ain't fun, I ain't trying to do it. So thank you. Well, I don't know what happened to Russ. I don't know if people can see me or not. All right. Well, everybody, this is C Red. I appreciate everybody if you watched. All right. Two fingers. Deuce.
Podcast troubles. There he is smoking a cigarette, folks. But as I was trying, you no. Look at that. You know what happened? I didn't hit the end button. But where were we?
And here's the funny part.
Take two, folks. See, this is what happened on
So the funny
podcasts.
part is you went off screen and I was on screen, but
I
it
saw
still
you.
said live. And I'm like, I don't know what happened to Russ people, but I appreciate y'all watching.
I
get
felt
back.
that. I found you. I got you. I hit that. I hit something, and because I touched my mouse. Damn mouse. Don't
I
touch
was
my
like,
mouse. Yeah. I saw you. I
okay,
saw you.
how that is? Okay.
Boom! He's gone.
I was like, tell the guy I like this show, and next thing you know,
He's
he
good.
leaves.
He leaves. He vanishes. That's it. That's the show. Yeah. Then you take over.
Right. I was like, okay, well, welcome to the real death match. Where right now I'm gonna bring my mom down and we're gonna nah. Let me not say that too loud before she come down here and kill
I
me.
probably would. What are you doing?
Dude, again, I love my mom, but again, I had to tell her I'm doing an interview. Don't yell downstairs, you know. And again, people are like, well, why are you with your mother? Why? I have an elderly mother, people. So I'm the only child. So she has to deal with the crazy son that's in the wrestling business.
Hey, I'm crazy too. And my parents love me, and they're retired. So God bless them. They're
Hey, mine is too, guy. And hit the one thing that it's funny, I did talk about my dad, that he wasn't a wrestling fan, but he became my biggest supporter.
family
And
always is, as they always say.
he only came to one show, and that's crazy. 17 years, one show,
Mhm.
and he watched me get hit with a kendo stick. And at that time, he was mobile, but he was walking on a cane. And he tried to swing the cane at his cane at the guy that hit me with the Singapore cane. And it was like, so I'm looking like, stop him. And ex-wife, I'm looking at her, stop him. He can't hit this dude, I'm all right.
Mhm.
But my dad would always be my support system. Every Saturday, I'd stop over before a show. And, he would be like, you got a show today? I'm like, yeah. And he was like, all right. And then when I come over on Sunday, he was like, did you make some money last night? I'm like, yeah. He was like, did you have fun? Yeah. Did you get hurt? Some days it was yeah, some days it was no. And he's like, all right, well, as long as you making money and having fun doing it, and
Good.
I miss that, man. I miss, just being able to talk to him and telling him, yeah, I knocked somebody's head off last night. Are the police coming? No. Oh, okay. Then we fine. All right. But I miss that. So, I tell everybody, treasure them while you got them, man.
Yeah.
You only get one set of parents. So, my mother drives me crazy, but I love her dearly. But, but I'm sure that my kids say the same about me. So,
You know what? My nieces and nephews, I love them to death. They are smart children. They grew up the right way, and my nephew is a goofball just like me. So hey, all three of them are goofballs, and my niece is such a doll.
well, girls are, and God has a funny sense of humor. So I'm majority girls. So, and my girls,
Sisters, yep.
my girls now I have two grandsons, uh, which they are the light of my life.
I haven't seen them.
You know,
I haven't seen them since just virtual. Really.
and that's why I'm saying, man, I'm ready for this to be over with so bad. Just so everybody. A lot of people, oh, I want to go to the club, and I want to go.
I always tell people they don't know what my death match. I never will tell them what the death match wrestling is. Never will. I never will. Just to be that.
Why?
Because they're young, and you don't want them to know what I get. Talk about violence and of the weapons.
Well, at some point they're gonna ask.
Yeah, but they like to play with my figures, so the regular.
Because here's the crazy part. My daughters, again, they grew up, 17 years, they grew up in this business. And so one of the people I know is Mustafa Ali, WWE. And so one night before my daughter, she now lives in Arizona. Um, so she was living here in Chicago and she was working here. And she was on a lunch break and she was in a restaurant. And either him and his wife were behind her or vice versa, one of the two. But he looked up, he said, "Hey, don't I know you?" And she said, "Don't I know you?" And then he tried to place where he knew her from. And then he was like, "See Red's daughter?" And she was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, "It's Ali." And then she looked real good and she was like, "Oh," and then he, talked about the time we did a show and, he had shirts to sell, but didn't have anybody to sell his shirts. And I would always, I'd utilize my children. My kids had to sell my merch. They could count. You could count. Can you if somebody give you a 20 and the shirt is 12, how much money? $8. There you go. All right. Sell these shirts. Sell these pictures. That's what you do.
Get it. Yep.
Man, having kids in this business I love it. I was telling some friends a couple of weeks ago, I was promoting a company I worked for. Windy City had a sister company called Urban America Pro Wrestling. So it focused on inner city youth, and where the spotlight was on African American and Hispanic wrestlers. So me and three other guys, Damian Dunn, Lord Cassius, and Acid Jazz, I didn't believe in being a one-man promotion, so we decided that the four of us would be the best way to run the promotion. But I had to go flyer, and something that companies don't do anymore. And I took my kids and took them, and they ran up and down the block, and just it was like fun for them. They got to put the flyers on the car and on the apartment and house doors, and they had a ball. And it was like, why is everybody complaining about flyering? This is so easy. I just hand them a stack of flyers. They come run back 5 minutes later. I need more flyers, Daddy. I need more flyers. Okay, here you go. Take them. Pass them out. Do what you got to do. All right, we good. So my kids have grown. I ain't gonna say to love the business. I'm quite sure at this point in life that they probably hate it. I don't think they hate it, but if I'm not on it, then they're like, we don't want to. They always, Daddy, when's the next show? Dad's, when's the next show? And it's like, I'll tell you when. Nothing worse than your grown children seeing you get your head knocked off. So,
But you know what? This was so much fun.
Again, man, like I said, I love your show because again, it's relaxing. It's
not no structure, no holds barred. Yeah,
but that's what I like. Again, I don't have to, every 2 minutes, we got to take a commercial break. Like we just started. We got to take
just doing a normal conversation.
But that's it.
Yeah.
That to me, that's the best best interviews where it's just a conversation. I don't feel stressed where, yes, I've been in the business 7. I started in the, I mean, I get it in, I plug it,
Like if you snapped your fingers right now, look, work it. Oh,
Where you can find me? Oh, yes, you can find me on Facebook under my real name, Sean Young.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at The Urban Sensation. You can find me on Instagram at Urban Sensation 1. Facebook, you follow Chicagoland Championship Wrestling. And on Instagram, CC Wrestling Entertainment. Or go to the website at www.chicagolandchampionshipwrestling.com.
And sold
Please, October 3rd.
Yes.
Miles Mercer with C Red. We will become victorious. The ARC in the building. Big ups to the promoter and owner, John Ballard.
Shout out to John.
You are the man. Who else? Marche Rocket. The main event, Marche Rocket. Chris Shogun Hogan. And Garrison Creed.
And
we'll be on Prime, people. I can't tell you. I don't know the details, but Chicagoland Championship Wrestling is coming to Amazon Prime. So stay tuned for Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. When that is announced, I will tell people how to get in contact. But before that, I'm sure me and Russ will talk, and Russ will be able to share all that wonderful information. But we'll both be busy that night. Him with his charity show, me with Chicagoland Championship Wrestling. Again, October 3rd, 2020. The pandemic is still here, people. Wash your hands. Hand sanitizer.
Do you have any podcasts? Hey, Russell, do you got any podcasts this week? No. I think I'm gonna take a little break. I'm pretty caught up, I think.
You gonna take a break this week?
I'm gonna take a little break. Oh no, wait. I need to reach out to Marshall. I need to reach out to him. Can you hit him up? Could you do me hit him up later?
Yeah.
Tell him to get his ass on the podcast. Tell him to get going. I still have a week to go. You know, my calendar's open. My week's open still. So.
Okay, I will. Matter of fact, it probably won't be tonight because he does have a newborn. So that whole thing of
the baby.
You got to sleep when they sleep. So I'll probably hit him up sometime tomorrow afternoon and tell him to make sure he reaches out and sets up a date so he can come on here and plug the main event for Chicagoland Championship Wrestling, October 3rd, 2020, at Michigan City, Illinois, Indiana.
And thank you so much for coming on.
Again, man, I appreciate it. And anytime you want me on, just let me know, and I'll be back. I'm like the Jacksons. I'll be there.
All right.
Don't really. You gonna laugh? You gonna laugh? You're gonna laugh.
What?
You're gonna laugh at that.
What?
You're gonna laugh at that.
Really?
You're gonna laugh at my Jackson 5 imitation? Really? Really? Just because I don't have 4 other guys behind me? I don't have a big afro?
Where's my guys? Where's my guys, huh? I'll get my Lucha guy. I got a Lucha friend over here.
You got Lucha.
Where is he?
See, he left.
No,
he left.
If you want to hold my chicken.
Why you put? See, real quick story. There's a guy that used to wrestle in Windy City called Vito Two Fingers Fontaine. So he used to take a chicken like that you're holding, and he would slap you. He would hit you with it during that was his stick, his gimmick. And dude, them rubbing chickens hurt.
One of my good friends. This was one of his a wrestling fan. He would travel to a lot of shows, and that's what he would have with him every single show. And God rest his soul.
Dude, Vito would hit you with that chicken, and it'd be worse than going through a table or getting hit with a chair. Mm-hmm. That chicken stung. So I do not miss that chicken. So please put your chicken away. Put them to the side. Put them back in the bag. Put them in the freezer. Okay. Put Put them in the pot. Chicken stew.
Good.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
But Russ, I had a blast, man.
Yeah,
I really
all
did.
at night. I'm not watching wrestling or see what's going on. I think that's it. That's it. Just reach out to nothing else going on this week, really. Just catch up on wrestling.
Well, I will hit him back, and
as we talk about it on Tuesday.
I will hit him up, and hopefully he will get in contact with you either tomorrow or hopefully soon, Monday. Hopefully.
Yep. All good.
All right. I appreciate it.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. For the second time.
Second time, take two. Not take three. Take two.
Take two.
Good night, everybody. All right. I want to say thank you to my guest, manager, wrestler, C. Red, for coming on tonight. My gosh. This guy's 17 years in the biz, and he's still growing strong. And you know what? He loves supporting. He loves wrestling. He supports it with a passion. And you know what? Check him out at Chicagoland Wrestling, October 3rd, and other promotions as well, fans. He's around. Once this pandemic's over, he cannot wait. But he will be outside for October 3rd as Chicagoland Wrestling will be back. And they will be on Amazon Prime as well. And much more. And what else should I plug? As I said before, fans, tonight, you know what? Anchorage, Alaska, WrestlePro. Support them. Go on Facebook and check out WrestlePro Alaska. Hashtag WrestlePro Alaska. Let's say that. I'll go on all social media forums and check them out. WrestlePro. WrestlePro, support them. A lot of huge stars on the card tonight. The bad boy, Joey Janela. You have Hornswoggle. You have the vampire himself, Gangrel. Shout out to Gimmick Tree Entertainment for providing a lot of online virtual meet and greets lately that have been happening. He recently they just had Magnum TA, also the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant, and tonight he actually has Jimmy Gangrel with him. So in Alaska as well, fans. So he does also Gimmick Trees does a lot with the online auctions as well. They have 8x10s, loose figures, posters, you name it, they got it. And just check it out on Facebook at a Gimmick Tree. And shout out to all the wrestling companies. Game Changer Wrestling coming up pretty soon for the first on a show they're going to be doing, and the Collective coming up, H2O, some of the other promotions as well. But October 3rd in Cape May, New Jersey, I will be sponsoring Valves for Pals. Go to war, fans. Have a good night, and have a good night, and thank you for listening to the Deathmatch Wrestle podcast. As always. Good night, everybody. Tune in next time.
You can find more Deathmatch Russell podcasts on the following social media: DeathmatchRussell.com, follow on Twitter at DavidNJ32, and on Facebook, Facebook.com/DJDaveNJ32. Instagram at DavidNJ36. Hey, wrestling fans, I want to mention Collar and Elbow. Collar and Elbow was founded on traditional values of professional wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product intended to connect with people on an emotional level, a symbiotic relationship where one cannot flourish without the other. We strive to create a product that embodies our passion for professional wrestling expressed through street fashion. Visit collarandelbowbrand.com and use the promo code Deathmatch Russell Podcast and save 10% off when you make a purchase. Collar and Elbow, where wrestling passion meets street fashion. Me on Podcast City Network at podcastcity.net, facebook.com/Podcast City Network. Hit the like button and share. And on Twitter at Podcast City Net. You can hear Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast on Stitcher Radio and on iTunes.